I remember the time that we were working on Plaza del Mariachi, and the lady approached us and said that we were doing gentrification. And
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people get the wrong concept or idea that.
That's a very interesting thing. You know, she asked us what we were. We said, we're architects. We are studying architecture, and we're going to do a project in here. The project turns out to be, it was, in the first part of it, it was temporary pavilions to celebrate the place, bring the community together. And but the interesting part of it was, as soon as she heard we were architects, she connected architecture to gentrification. That was very interesting, very sad. And that's what my previous answer to you was about. As architects, we need to take a position against this. So people see us somewhat of on their side. We're working with them. But if we start to work with the developers alone, we became the boogeyman. People are afraid of us. They think, oh, if there's an architect, there must be some development going on in here. And that's the worst part of LA. LA is la città capitalista. It's a capitalist city, and the only architecture happens here, well, you know, let's say 90%, 95%, maybe even more. Architecture is about making money, development, capitalist ventures. That's what LA is about. So that's what the lady related to us as architects. She's kind of a neighborhood, it's an automatic answer, automatic question, automatic comment that she had about gentrification. I like her position. She wasn't very, she was a little bit, I don't know how much she was looking into it, but that's good enough. She knows that we're going to come over there, and as architects, we're going to start to change their neighborhood, upgrade it, right? And when that thing happens, when the transformation, I'm afraid of words like transformation, urban vibrancy, thriving city. That's all bullshit. That's all really danger signs that once these things start to happen, the city, the people of certain areas, you know, start to suffer, you know, because it only benefits capital investment, money making, and the social aspect of architecture becomes overly controlled. Police state in kind of like more blunt and exaggerated terms. That's what it leads to. Then you have cameras watching people. You have cameras whose dog taking a poo, or who's speaking with a loud voice, who's gathering illegally, you know, in certain places. What are you doing here? Kind of a questions. You know, let me see your ID kind of a questions. And then all of a sudden, the city starts to lose being intuitive. Okay? It's no longer intuitive city. It's no longer a city that you get a feeling and I want to do this and you do it. It becomes more, can I go there? Or can I cross this line in here? And then when things start to happen, that our lives become more regimented as people. Yeah, oh, I can't do that. It's against the law, kind of thing, right? What
is the law?
Well, the law is law, but there's already some kind of a fear implanted in people's behavior. So then you see like a robot's going to Best Buy and buying this, going this and getting that. Consumerist things, a safe lifestyle, entertaining, safe lifestyle, because it's just kind of an addiction. Right? You buy some things, you're happy, like the president saying after the World Trade Center came down, he was caught in an elementary school somewhere in the East Coast, and he just sit there and said, Americans should go shopping. It's kind of it's a new pastime, new way of entertainment, or having the social interaction, going to the mall. All the new development, you see commerce. is the main ingredient of any of the developments is always the consumers. Right? Yeah. Urban development is pretty much in American cities specifically, or especially, is expanding the systems of commerce. That's an issue with global economies. It's, you have supply demand. You always have to sell stuff, right? So a lot of the urban, the ice cream urbanism, or the taco truck urbanism, all that stuff is basically getting people to feel one and only with consumerist existence. That's what it is. Urban development to me is that. But there's another urban development, the organic development of the city. And that's what I like. No matter what you do, it will happen anyway. And so, we kind of arrange and rearrange things. Even the gentrification becomes something you can deal with, perhaps, at one point. And it has to be done with a certain amount of resistance. And we have this now in with the metro system development in LA. That's the biggest contributor to any kind of development, expansion, transformation in Los Angeles. And right now, for example, the Boyle Heights, East LA, is the next place that is going to follow this pattern. It's a new sort of place with large amount of land and property. It's ripe for development, let's say. And I'm not saying gentrification at this point, more like a development. It's a even more dangerous word. And but the organic development I'm talking about, it happens like people start to change their attitude about certain things. They become resistive. That's what's happening in East LA. People are resisting now to this kind of developments. And they are more politically charged. And it's going to happen more places, hopefully. Like the things happening in the Democratic Party in a larger scale. One person is for development, the other one is representing a controlled development. And so the urban development to me is something that you should be very aware, and you should be able to sort it out. What development is good for the community, what development is not good for the community in a larger, bigger picture. Urban development is a bigger picture of things. Okay? So you should be armed or prepared or already have alternative ideas for if the development is counterintuitive, right? So that's what it is. Development is expansion or changing in a large scale of things. It's something will happen. It feeds the change in built environment, but also that's when the things happen. And so you better prepare to understand its possible impacts to the community. Right? That's development. Yes.
So could a building make a change in the whole community with just one single building?
Sure.
Would that be considered urbanism?
Of course it does. That's the power of architecture. It has that kind of a power to change things negatively or positively. So, for example, there are very positively influential things being done around the world. Maybe a small part there's a positive change in the society or community. Maybe a little building makes that. Or maybe a public oriented architectural either building or landscape, open space does that. So yes, the question is yes, architecture has that kind of aspect to it. That's what we like about architecture. If we discover that, we can positively impact the built environment. So some buildings do that. Some open space does it. And it goes on. Even the way that you look at things as an individual makes a change, makes a difference in urban environment. How people think about space or where they are, putting their feet. If you think about these things more and more, we end up. I'm not promising a better city or saying that, but at least we become activated in this discourse. We become occupied with thinking about. And if you're an architect on top of it, it's all the better. That's what we should do as architects, thinking about these things rather than, providing a decoration service, right? A lot of architecture is a decoration service. You know that.
Yeah, the makeup.
Yeah.
Over makeup. Because, throughout the years that I've been studying architecture, or ever since I found it as my passion, at first I was just going to try to focus into residential. Because I had that concept, an architect only does residential.
Yeah.
And then little by little, I started going, no, you know what? I should try to change it up. And I started going into, I'm going to become an architect for industrial or commercial or skyscrapers or any big buildings. But then ever since you introduced me into all these new concepts and ideas, I feel that my path in architecture should be urbanism. Be making that little building that's going to provide a new impact in the whole city, or that little change that eventually is going to be like that wave that falls from a water and makes an impact little by little, but it's going to create an impact for a better society or a better community.
But you don't abandon still designing a little house.
No, every little change, everything that I've been accumulating all these years is going to be eventually like a whole mixture, a whole soup that is going to provide from a little residential house to a big commercial building.
That's a good thinking. That's the way it should, it's a healthy way of thinking. It doesn't matter if you think about the whole nation, big cities, design them, impact them, and all that. Architects, we should still know about how to put a house together, right?
Typical type 5 houses.
Typical type 5 houses, which is it's just not necessarily designing a house, not necessarily an easy thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's geometrically solved, sometimes it's solved by different fields, how the air feels, how the sound travels, what you see from the window, and what the budget is, what can you build with a certain amount of money that you have or you don't have. So those things they're all manifested in small projects as they are manifested in big projects. So the issues are still similar, although their details are different. When you are working on a big project, you're dealing in a larger amount of money, more collaborations with different trades, different people. In a small house, you have a little bit more control of what goes there, so you get to deal directly with the client and make decisions faster, I should say, if you don't get stuck on some stupid thing like a counter detail or something. There are a lot of architects do that. They just, they don't have a lot more to do, so they spend a lot of time on little things. They should just do it